beautiful and sincere. And I say shalom to you, Akim, up there. And this is another lesson through the Spirit, God, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Shai for in the news on this September 16th, 2022. On this Friday afternoon at 5:17 a.m. Central Standard Time. And this is a news article from Reuters. It was reported in the news about 4 hours ago from Reuters.com. Alternative news program. And the highlight of this news article, it reads, in the news on September 16, 2022, it says China slaps sanctions on U.S. CEOs over Taiwan arms sales. It says China will impose sanctions on the chief executive of Foreign Defense and raid them over their involvement in Washington's latest arms sales to Taiwan. A foreign minister spokesperson said Friday, Lisa produced this report. So yeah, the tensions are growing between Beijing and Washington and the United States and China. Now you got China imposing sanctions on the CEOs that have their involvement in the Taiwan sales. The United States did the Taiwan sales to Taiwan because the tension is increasing between China and the United States over Taiwan, because Taiwan is like a self-governor, sovereign island. Ever since 1949, they separated from the mainland China. Since then, those tensions are definitely been stirring up, because China is highly upset that the United States keep on budging in their business between China and Taiwan, because the United States want to be a continual unofficial alliance of an ally of Taiwan, after what happened with that Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker of Nancy Pelosi visit over there in Taiwan, they took that very seriously, That's why they ante up their military training, joint exercise military training, And then you might have a potential invasion of, you might have a potential invasion of Taiwan very soon, because we're seeing signs of that. And so Taiwan, they're gonna do all its measures as much as they can. And they're gonna hit the United States with economic sanctions. How the way the United States uses sanctions on these nations, they're gonna hit the United States as sanctions as well too. They say, if y'all can do it, we can do it as well too. So we're gonna put some harsh economic sanctions on y'all as well too. Or we might not fully directly hit y'all, but we're gonna find people that's associated with y'all. We're gonna hit economic sanctions on them as well too. That's a part of supporting Taiwan in the efforts to improving the pathway to them approving the arms sales to Taiwan. Now they got another offer. Most likely it's gonna be approved from the Congress to see if they're gonna send that $4.6 billion to Taiwan in military aid assistance, military arm assistance. So that shows you the continuing growing tensions between China and the United States, and Beijing and Washington combined as well too. So these are definitely going to increase, and it's going to be in different type of collisions between the nations on an economic war standpoint and to a verbal standpoint, and this potentially is going to increase to a physical war standpoint as well too. And you're going to see the increase of wars and rumors of wars between the nations and different kingdoms as well too. So as you see, China hit economic sanctions on CEO, the ones that's affiliated, that took part in the sending the approval of the sales of military arms sales to Taiwan, you know, just like the United States do with Ukraine war as well too. You know, United States getting themselves in so many types of wars, they don't even know it, you know. Sooner or eventually they're going to enter these wars with these nations, you know, especially with China, Russia, and Iran, and North Korea, you know. Even if you hit these nations with hard economic sanctions, they're gonna find a way to get you right back as well too, you know. Because these nations are not afraid of the daughter of Babylon no more. You know, Joel 3:10, let the weak say I am strong. You know, Joel 3:9. Prepare a war, wake up a mighty man. You're seeing the mighty man waking up on these nations. Hey, not just only from a warlike standpoint, hey, from an economic standpoint as well too. And like, hey, you United States and you allies that's hating us with economic sanctions. If it's right or wrong, hey, we're gonna hit y'all with economic sanctions as well too. And I believe about a couple of months ago, I believe Beijing or China, I believe, or Russia hit Nancy Pelosi and her family with economic sanctions, and the Joe Biden family with sanctions as well too. So that lets you know these nations are not afraid of America. You know, they got they use they practical, tactical ways as well too. You know, especially from an economic standpoint. Hey, if we can't, if we just doing verbal against one another, or rumors of wars with one another, exchanging words of war. Hey, we exchanging words of war of economics as well too. You know, so as you see, the United States got slapped with some economic sanctions. You know. So it's definitely going to increase these things as you see the tensions grows between the United States and China, and Beijing and Washington over Taiwan, you know. And you got tensions increasing between China and Taiwan as well too, because Taiwan still look at Taiwan as part of China, part of the mainland China, you know, as a because they got that one China rule policy over there in South China Sea, in the mainland China. But, you know, they still look at Taiwan as one of them, you know, and Taiwan refused that, you know. They said, and Taiwan said, hey, if y'all gonna try to invade our island, you know, we're gonna defend ourselves as much as possible, you know, to the best of our ability, you know. In the United States, y'all get involved in them too. Hey, we're gonna use acts of war against y'all as well too, from a war type response standpoint and an economic response standpoint as well too. So these tensions are definitely growing between China and the United States, and it's gonna continue to grow even further more. I believe like a month ago, they had China and Taiwan. They separated each other. I believe they separated each other from economics of exchange from one another. So, you know, so it's going to increase more and more and more between the two, you know. As Taiwan I believe China part ways from Taiwan for importing, exporting things. They used to have trade agreements with one another. I believe China had dipped away from them, you know, just like China from economic ties or military ties. You know, they departed that from the United States and Taiwan as well too. So these tensions are definitely growing between the nations, and it's going to increase more and more and more, you know. And I'm bring out the scripture of Matthew 24:6, as I normally always bring out. So yeah, these wars are definitely heating up, definitely stirring up. Not from a war economical standpoint as well too. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. It reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet." Mark 13 and 8. "For nation shall rise against nation," and that's what we're seeing. Countless and endless times of nations are definitely rising up against one another, and different kingdoms as well too. You know. And it's going to increase more and more and more. And the nations is going to be using economic sanctions on each other like crazy, you know. Not just only military words of exchanging words against one another. Increasingly, you know, it's going to have economic wars against one another as well too. You know, China said, "Hey, y'all using hard economic sanctions on us. Hey, we're gonna slap right sanctions on y'all as well too, and we're gonna deport from y'all the dollar, because y'all American dollar ain't gonna be nothing when that time comes, you know." So hey, that shows you more and more that modern day Babylon is definitely fall, and it's gonna continue to fall, you know. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Karkadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching the word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the 4 points of the globe, preaching the word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and above.